Guys, let me tell you a story. Why I'm doing cats today. I have 2 dogs, and I'll put their pictures up here on the screen. One is Hulk and one is Janny. Hulk, we have been told, was probably deprived of oxygen when he was born, so he doesn't learn the same way as other dogs. He doesn't necessarily learn. And we were getting ready to take them for a little daycare trip, and I had a hold of both of them, walked out the door, was telling them to stay and sit and all that fun stuff, and they took off running because they knew that they were going to the car, and I got pulled along with them, flying through the air. I did not fall, but I got pulled off the porch. I did a wide turn through our driveway, trying not to fall, and then I slammed right into the back of our SUV, and I dented it. And I got a nice bruise on my arm because of it, because these fools were just so excited to get in the car and didn't want to heed their commands. So this is why I went with cats today. And these are the cats, and you're going to see what they turned out like and how they were made in just a minute. All right, thanks. Hello, I have an idea today. So why don't you sit back, relax, get some time for yourself, find some joy in crafting, and come along with me. Today, I've got some new Temu molds, and they're little kitty cats. And we're going to do these. We're going to make them with ResinCrete. This is actually a little test tube flower tiny vase thing. It came with this little plug, and so you just kind of put it in this side and make sure you've got it in this side, fit them together. That way those inserts do not fill with ResinCrete or resin, whatever you're planning to do with this, and then you can put your little test tube little thing right in there. So it should just create a nice little hole that won't get filled, and we can put our test tube in. All right, there we go. She's in. And today I am going to use the Autumn Harvest and Autumn Bark. I have shaken these up already. Just going to shake them up a little bit again. This is going to give it a nice kind of brown and orange. Like a little tabby cat. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to marble them. And let me get my ResinCrete ready. Be right back. I've got my ResinCrete here. I have the 30-minute demold. I do not know how much these hold. So I'm going to guesstimate. And I'm going to do 300 grams of the powder. And this is a 10 grams powder, or 10:3 ratio of powder to water. So it's 300, I'm using grams because it's by weight. I'm going to do 300 grams of powder to 100 grams of water. Right? Is that right? No, that is not right. Should be 90 grams of water. Oops, a little much. That's all right, 302. Because it's 10:3, so at 100 it would be 10 grams water. 200 would be 60, 300 would be 90. All right, so we'll zero that back out, and we shall grab our water and just add that in there until we get to 90 grams. 52. Sorry, you can't see my scale here. Let's move this back here. I don't know, can you see it? Kinda. So we're 60, 71, 91. That's good. All right. Put our scale away. Now, you don't actually have to have gloves, and I've got something very black on here. You don't have to have gloves to deal with ResinCrete. It is non-toxic. I just don't want the powder all over my hands. The other thing, you should actually wear a dust mask to protect yourself from breathing all of this powder in. Now, ResinCrete does get a little clumpy. I like its working time. And I like the finished product with it. There's many eco casting powder alternatives on the market. Bond Crafter has one that's really great too. That cures up super fast, so you don't want to be doing anything complex with that. But it's super fast, super smooth. That one doesn't really clump at all. I have never had clumps with that one, in fact. And the only reason I'm not using it is one, I ran out, but two, I like the working time with ResinCrete. There are other ones. There's Aquacast, Jesmonite. There's one called EcoPore. I believe that's the name of it. So there are other alternatives out there. And I'm just trying to make sure that I'm getting any lumps and clumps out of here. So I'm just kind of moving it and pressing it up against the side to make sure I catch any of those clumps, hopefully. Usually I always see a few left as I'm pouring them in, but you know what? They're usually internal and I don't see them afterwards ever again, and they have not seemed to affect the makeup of the product, and they are still nice and hard. All right, I think we are all good and mixed up here. And I'm gonna grab a couple different cups here. And this is because I'm gonna do one in one color, one in another color. Yeah, you can see a couple tiny clumps coming out in there. It's all right. And then we still will reserve this white off to the side. Now these are from the Homeware Design Co. They are her kind of eco casting compound colors. They are perfect for Jesmonite plaster, eco resins, and cement. She is on Etsy if you want to go take a look at her stuff. Very pigmented, and I like them a lot. There's that one. Give this one another little shake. And a little bit more in there. All right, now we're going to give each of these a stir and get those colors combined. I'm just using some old sticks I have that I've used before with other eco resin pours. Be careful when you're working with these paper cups that you're not pressing so hard on the bottom that you're gonna tear them and everything comes flying out. Now, because ResinCrete is very, very white, whatever colors you're gonna put in here, they will be lighter. Because, you know, when you add white to a color, it lightens it up. So I want this a little bit more dark. It's not as brown as it looks in the bottle, so I'm actually gonna go find a brown one. One moment. And I'll be right back. All right, I have a brown from ResinCrete itself. They do have a pack of colors. And let's try 2 drops and see where that gets us. Not very. Sorry, I just turned my heat mat off. We'll add a little bit more. What's funny with browns, you can see a little tinge of color at the end. It's not from my stick, it was from the pigment itself. All right, I think we're just gonna have to stop here. That's all right. That orange mixed up again. And we're gonna do the big cat first. Get that pushed back in there. All right. And do a little brown, a little orange, a little more brown there, some brown down here, orange around here, brown here. Oops, sorry, I made a mess there. I didn't mean to, but sometimes my hands just get away from me. We'll go ahead and get the rest of this down here. Okay, and I'm going to use the rest of that white. And I'm actually going to swirl these together. I'm going to swirl the brown. Actually, let's just do the brown. And we're just going to pour that in here as well. And that's probably going to scoop down to the bottom. Help pushing some of these colors out. And I will need to make some more to get this guy topped off. Like I said, I didn't know how much this guy was going to take, but making up more is not a problem at all. All right. We'll get more made up and I'll be right back. All right, we made up our other container here. Mix in some more of this brown. I'm not going to do the orange because the orange is kind of a lot in there already. And we just want to do the quick little marble in here. And I think that's good. Now, don't put this stuff down your drain. It will become like cement down your drain. Never put any resin or resin products down your drain. This is like, if you have a rock tumble, you know how you cannot rinse your tumblers down the drain because it will form a cement and completely ruin your drain. Same thing. Don't do that with this. All right. All right. Oops. Keep doing that. My blind spot, I guess. All righty. Sorry for the big sigh. I'm not bored, believe me. It's more disappointment in myself for making a mess. Now, let's try to move this over here. Oh, and I just made a huger mess. All right, there we go with that one. And our next little guy here, I am going to throw some orange in there. I was going to say black, but we don't need it. I'll just do some orange. Not a whole lot. It's kind of already orangey, as you can see. There you go. Okay. The nice thing about eco resins is they're fast. If you want to make something really quick, you can. Bond Crafter is super fast. I mean, that starts curing. You have like a 3 to 5 minute work time after stirring. And that's it. And then it's on its way to curing. You're done like in a half hour. Normally, like ResinCrete and some others, it takes about 2 to 3 days before it's fully cured. However, it's hard cured within half an hour. Usually give it an hour extra just to make sure. But there we go. And that little kitty's done. What I did with these guys also over here, I did give them little taps around the edges, hoping to avoid getting bubbles like that one right there you could see just popped up. Just give them a little, can tap my board here is what I normally like to do. Some people have vibration plates. I don't have one of those. I don't know that I want to get one of those. It seems like they may make more of a mess for me because I'm a little messy to begin with. I don't need to add more mess. Pop right there. And try to get this little bit cleaned up off of here. The nice thing is this is on a silicone mat. When it dries, I can just flake it off. And I do have a little baggie that I keep on the side for when I want to try to attempt the terrazzo effect. So I've got all these pieces in this baggie ready to go. Now it's time to clean our bowl, or in my case, cup. And I have found the easiest way to do this. This one I'm just wiping down with a baby wipe. The easiest way to do this is actually fill it with a little bit of water. Literally just a little bit. I like to swirl it up in there. And then get a napkin, a paper towel. And then I stick it down in here and let it absorb that water. And then I turn it around and run it up and down, get it in the edges. And definitely have to get the sides of my cup as well. See where it's kind of already started to cure up. A little flaky and hard. All right, and that's how we get that. Get that all cleaned up right there. I'm not done with that yet. Gonna grab my baby wipe. Give my hand a quick wipe down. That's why I wear the gloves, so it wasn't all over my hands, but rather just on the glove instead. And then I wipe down the cup again with the baby wipe. How do you guys clean your cups when you're using EcoPour? What do you guys do? I just find this way is really easy, really fast. It does accumulate under the lip of the cup, so I kind of have to go around and try and get up in there. But I've not had any issues with that falling into my works, so. And I'm just gonna grab another paper towel or two and then just get it all dried out. And it does not, while this may look a little bit more stained, it does not actually affect my next pour that I will do in this or make in this. So yeah, there's my cup. She's clean. I'll put her off to the side. These guys, these I can use again once they're all nice and hard, which they're getting. I can squish them once they're nice and hard and add them into my terrazzo chip bag. Add them in there and then probably toss those paper cups. Maybe use them one more time and be done. All right. We will be back on demold. See you later. It is demold time, my birdies. So, what shall we do first? Big cat, little cats. Let's do little cats. All right. A little heart and you'll see how these fit together. These both came from Temu. I think I said that earlier. So there's your little heart. These have been sitting probably over an hour. You don't want them sitting too long because they can start to sweat in here and you don't want sweat marks. Now, these fit together like that. Isn't that precious? They're so cute. Gotta pick that up. Bring this up a little closer here. Oh, nope. I think they're cute. He's a little darker. She's got more More orange. I feel like it's a mama and a baby kitten. Now let's get the big cat. Let's actually do our little trick. Gonna go around picking up the edges here. I forgot who I saw do this. But whoever it was, if you're watching, give yourself a shout out. Was it you, Nikki, from Critics Creations that did this? I can't honestly remember. Anywho. Alright, so let's get this little kitty cat going here. Meow. I grew up with cats. We had usually about 4 cats in our house. 3. Well, first when I was very little, we started with a cat and a dog. The dog passed away, and then we got a cat that decided to follow us home one, there we go, got that out, one, Halloween. So we named him Goblin. The first cat was Pepper. And then we had a little feral, half domestic cat, and his name was Devin. We got him at Humane Society. And then we had a cat, Goblin passed away, and then my friend's cat had kittens, and we got one of those kittens, and its name was BC, Big Cat, because it was the biggest one in the litter. And also Black Cat, he was black and white. And then we got one because it was stuck up in our tree and would not come down for like 4 days. And her name was Misty. She was not smart at all. But my mom finally got her out of that tree. There we go. Oh, let's get that pushed back in the right way. There. Well, gotta give those a clean up. And there's our big kitty cat. I'm gonna let these dry, and then I will put the Clark's Stone and Concrete wax. This stuff smells good. You can see little citrus, orange, and lemon extracts. It smells fantastic. Brightens up these pieces. That's just a little piece that was from in here. Just break it down to put it in my terrazzo chip bag. And we'll be back. Shine these bad boys up. All right, we'll be back. And we're back. Let's go ahead and give our kitties a little coating of wax here to get them nice and sealed in. Just use a little sponge here. And then we're just gonna rub it in. You can see that that pigment comes to life more as we rub the pigment in, or rub the wax into it. I do like using that Clark's Stone and Concrete wax. Get it in between these sections here. Just want to get it all nice and sealed up. Fortunately, there are some bubbles you can see around these edges that came from when I poured different layers. It definitely did not end up the coloring I wanted it to be. It's so cute though. So once you got that all rubbed in, you want to take like a microfiber cloth, and then you just want to buff it. And I'll probably do this about 3 times. Just want to buff it in there. Rub it on in. So it's just getting all nice and into the material, ResinCrete. And there we go. There's that first one done. And There it is. Here's my little test tube. And it just sits down in there. And there it is. So put him off to the side, and now we have these little kitties and the heart. So we'll grab the little heart first and just get him all waxed up. And then move on to the kitties. And then I will also take some pin and get it into the little edges of the kitty's imprints for its face. And I'll do that for both of them. I actually like how these kitties turned out in coloring better because it's less of that orange. That just kind of took over. And the other one. All right. I'm not bothering with the backs of these right now, just because I still want the moisture to be able to get out. And I'm putting it on a rack. That's a slatted rack so that it can escape from underneath it. And like I said, I'll probably do 2 more coats of this for a total of 3. Letting it sit some time in between each layer. And while I'm doing this, I want to thank everybody that watches my channel. I really appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, please think about it. It's free for you. You can go ahead and aim your phone camera at the QR code on the screen, or you can scroll down and click on that little subscribe button. If you like this content, please go ahead and give me a big old thumbs up, and that will help me out as well. I do have coupon codes listed in my description from quite a few vendors. Save yourself some money with those. And if you're so inclined, I do have an Amazon wish list and a Buy Me a Coffee link in my description as well. Again, though, thank you all sincerely for watching my videos. I really, really, really appreciate it. And stay tuned for the beauty shop. It's coming up. All right. Bye, guys.